Greetings! It is start for a new speedrun of Wizardry 8. This time with slightly different party. No idea if it works, maybe it doesn't, but it's definitely worth trying. I decided to replace the ranger with the bishop because I found out that the mage is actually doing quite good damage. He has more kills than the ranger. And anytime there is a bigger fight with more enemies, the mage just does a lot of damage. He also allows me to go to the more difficult maps early on faster, because the AoE damage, as long as he has mana, is just huge. And Ranger can never do that. Ranger is fine on single target DPS. It helps against solo enemies, against hard to hit enemies with high resistances. Ranger was doing very well on such fights. But overall, I think another caster would make me run faster. And because I still need someone who can mix potions, and I think that Alchemist is just weak, I decided for a Bishop. I want... okay, Bishop needs a lot of work. If it's worth it, if it's worth the time he saves me, or she in this case, that's a question. Because I already have a priest, which I don't want to drop, I was deciding if I should drop the mage instead, because yeah, the bishop gets the port slightly slower, but it's not that much slower, and I would already have the priest portal. So I thought about dropping the mage and making bishop, but I think that would not really improve the game too much. And also the ranger, if not trained properly, which I won't be doing in a speedrun, would lose his purpose. So I decided for a third caster. Priest is still there mostly for the support. Bishop won't be going into divinity at all, or at least not practicing divinity before the other realms. I would focus on wizardry, because wizardry is the cheapest AoE school with proper AoE, not just cones. And I will focus on alchemy because I need alchemy, but I won't really go too far into alchemy. All I want is 50 alchemy for the potions. And of course, as many spells as I can learn to increase the mana pool, which will be mostly used for the fire spells. I will also try to double into psionics, not because psionics is good, but because psionics again has a lot of spells that can be bought or learned and serve to increase the mana pool. Also, psionics has some useful spells that are actually very low level. Insanity level 2 is a great crowd control spell, and Hypnotic Lure, which I think is level 3, is also excellent crowd control spell. And not only that it saves, that Hypnotic Lure saves time, it saves basically everything, because it makes enemies skip their turn, and it works on basically any enemies. And yeah, it furthers up the purpose of another caster, which is faster clearing of big groups, by making them not act, by making them kill each other, by making them die faster, because they will just be bombarded with double the amount of fireballs. I think this should lead to some better, faster playthrough than with the ranger. I'm pretty sure, no matter what, that I will finish the game faster this time, just because I learned a lot from the first run, from the first attempt. So this is not the total time needed to finish this playthrough won't really serve as a comparison. It will be more the feeling I will get from playing the game, from playing with the bishop, and then I will have to decide what's better, what I think is better, or if this if overall moving the party formation into more caster, less physical, if it's a good idea. And it will also give me a lot of insight into bishop, which I don't have mastered. I don't like bishop. I hate bishop, I have to tell you. I don't like playing bishop, but I think that it should be worth it. It should be worth it if I do it properly. Focusing on wizardry for AoE damage, which is the main purpose. Secondary school alchemy, just to be able to mix the potions, which means 50, I have to reach 50. I'm pretty sure if I reach 40, I can get to 50 just by making heavy heals and cure disease. In the previous playthrough, I gained like 6 alchemy points from 46 to 52 just by doing that. And I didn't really try. I was just like having a lot of potions ready, but I wasn't really going to mix this potion for this purpose to get as many points as possible. I just wanted 4. I got 6, and if I got 6, I'm pretty sure I can get 10. So alchemy, yeah, I will be putting points into it. I will be getting some skill ups from casting spells, but not too much. So and of course I would be able to power level it by casting Knock Knock, because that will be done for the wizardry. So casting spells, putting points into alchemy on level ups, and hopefully that will be enough. Mixing potions, of course, mixing potions as well. Psionics, mostly through level ups. I don't need to go too high in psionics, but it will be actually very easy because I can use divine trap for that purpose. And divinity will just be ignored, or by ignored I mean probably not raised above 15, maybe to 30 later on, so I can actually get by big mock, whatever more spells, just to increase the mana pool. I've decided for an elf. Bishop doesn't have that many hit points as a priest. No way. But by ignoring senses and going for intelligence, piety, vitality, I was able to raise the starting hit points to 8 compared to the 6 of the mage. And that tells me that I am about to expect that the bishop will have like half the HP between the mage and the priest. Of course, yeah, right now he is closer to priest, even though actually no, he's closer to the mage, but he has very low vitality. But can't forget the fact that the bishop will be one level slower than the rest of the team. And one other thing, on level 2 I will be dual classing to mage, just to get some free realms skill points instead of staying bishop. That won't slow down my access to the portal spells, because I will just access it through the wizardry skill, but it will slow down access to every other spell, but every other school. But that shouldn't really matter, because as I said, primal focus is wizardry. And alchemy, mixing potion is not dependent on caster level in alchemy, just on the alchemy skill. Okay. Otherwise, what's changing? I was spending a lot of points into the offensive skills, offensive schools for the priest, like the fire. I was trying to increase earth as much as possible for the falling stars. I was putting a lot of points into air. And the question is, was it a good idea? I didn't really cast a lot with the priest in the end. I got lightning on actually quite late. I think that's level 11. On level 11 I got lightning, and level 11 is basically over the half of the plate time. And I didn't really get to cast it much. It does nice damage. Lightning does always nice damage, but it takes forever for the priest to get power cast, so his power cast is really low. And cone damaging spells are not really that effective compared to the normal AoE. So the question is of if I should keep putting points into fire, or if I should try to do something else. Something else would basically mean focusing on melee, so that the priest can stay in the middle row, or whatever the second row is, and bash enemies with the Staff of Death, hoping for debuffs, for instant kills and so on. Because actually 2-3 instant kills of some higher hit points enemies will make up for everything that I would achieve by casting the damaging spells. But that requires quite a lot of dedication. And I don't really want to do that. I think the priest was okay as a caster, staying supportive, not casting anything a lot of the time. And yeah, later on trying to achieve something with the damaging spells. Mostly with the falling stars that were on very low level. I think I didn't cast it over 2 or 3. That is to be expected when I'm finished the game on level 20 or so. But I think it was okay. I think it was okay. Yeah. I think that was an okay approach. For the mage, I should keep casting single target spells even on enemies where it won't have any effect at all, like golems and so on. Even if it takes more time than not doing that. The previous mage wasn't really impressive in the end game. He was much worse than the last time before this run, where I started with an elf that actually starts with higher piety, which means faster skill ups, and where I tried to cast much more, but I'm not sure if it's worth it, because that takes a lot. Casting offensive spells that do 2 damage, that takes a lot of time. And for a speedrun purpose, maybe I will stay with the same strategy with the mage as what I did before. It was okay. I was a bit disappointed by the affixing, whatever it is, the air air AoE kill all. It killed 3 enemies in the big fight in the end, which is the fight I'm trying to skill up for, because that takes a lot of time. It's quite dangerous. But that was sheer luck, and it didn't kill anything else. And it required quite a lot of dedication, putting points into air all the time, while I could be increasing fire, water much faster to get much better damage, more spell points and so on from them. Wizardry as well, I could have had much higher Wizardry in the end, just by ignoring the air. But I was also putting a lot of points into Divinity, trying to get Enchanted Blades higher and higher. But that was probably a mistake, because I wasn't really casting Magic Missiles. Probably because I don't really like the spell because how loud it is. So I guess Mage stays the same, less orienting on air, less orienting on Divine, and more on the rest. That should be enough. With the Priest was okay. He served his purpose. He was healing, he was refueling stamina, he was dispelling conditions, and he provided magic screen. Same could be done by the bishop, but that would mean sacrificing the psionic school, which has some spells I will like to test in this run. So these guys probably stay the same. Pure casters. Bard. Bard was really good as always, but I neglected music to feel neglected music too much in the early game. I put too many points into lockpicking. I think I should go to 20 and stop. And from that point, music, and maybe even that is too much. I just want to be able to open two locks, and that should be enough with 20. I can carry the thief shield in the offhand to boost me to 30, and that is more than enough for that purpose. I don't really care about traps. I think I will just ignore all trapped chests in this playthrough, or at least the ones I know I can't really open quickly. So less focus on locks, more focus on music, and more focus on close combat. I will still ignore music until I have 20 in locks, but from that point I will put points into music all the time. I was also lacking a lot in artifacts. Bishop has higher artifacts, 10 to the 25% bonus, also higher intelligence, even though the senses stay at 55. I'm not going to increase them, so we will see. But yeah, bishop should be much faster. Bishop should be much faster in increasing artifacts, so I can ignore artifacts on the Bard. But overall, I should try to raise artifacts more. I should try to focus on it a bit. Maybe use some scrolls, buy some scrolls, put that up. That because it saves a lot of mana, a lot of time, a lot of resting. Yeah. On the other hand, Bishop is a character that can identify through magic much better than we, and infinitely better than the Ranger. So I can actually use that instead of the artifact skill. So I may do that. I think that's actually okay. So artifacts to 30, then I don't care. With the Bard, in case I would find the plus 10 artifact escape early in the game, not too late, like last time, that would work, because I think you need like 40 artifacts for a cure disease. And if you are able to, if you have 40 artifacts, you can identify so many more items, so your artifacts climbs more and more and more. We will see how it goes. I think it all depends on that plus 10 artifacts cloak, or on how much the 25% bonus and the higher intelligence of the bishop influence the skill gains in the artifacts. We will see. As I said, I have no experience, no real experience with the bishop. So it can be another plus to have bishop instead of the ranger. Fighters, not much to say there. Maybe that this time I should watch out for for actually having a shield in the hand when leveling stealth. And also I had +5 stealth shield last time when I was leveling stealth, and I forgot about that. So the stealth on this fighter was not 50, it was just 46. And it didn't really matter. So maybe I should stop with 40 stealth. Should be enough. And with the Bard, 60 was enough. 60 was enough, so question is, do I want 50? Do I want 50 stealth instead of 60? Do I want 50 here and 40 on the fighters? That's the question. I think it will be okay. At one point I should ask myself if I even want to train stealth at all, but the answer is probably yes, because that's still +5 armor class, and that's something that's a lot. That's a lot of saved damage. Okay, and I have to focus on music much more. If you have seen the last playthrough, or if you've played Bard yourself, you know how useful the ability to use stamina after combat to to heal the party up, how greatly that affects the gameplay. You save so many hit points. You don't really have to care about your hit points in combat. As long as you survive, you are fine, because you will instantly heal to full, and the stamina will regenerate very quickly thanks to the stamina regenerating amulet. So more focus on music. Try to get 60 much faster. Try to find the plus 10 music cup from the bandits faster. That's what that was. That the plus 10 music is a real game changer. Suddenly you don't need 60, you need only 50. Your haste functions much better. So I should try to focus on that. Try to kill bandits when I can. Maybe check Arnica a bit more often for more bandits, and or just have some luck. And of course, train music. From the point I get the violin and can charm people, just train music, 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 and increase music on level ups. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say about the party, the last one and the current one, and maybe the last few thoughts, but that's not really much to think about. So I will finish this video. I was talking for 20 minutes. That's crazy. And for the actual gameplay, I will make a new video.